reconnection successful. So I guess it just give it a sec.
Oh, that's annoying.
That's annoying.
Very annoying, in fact.
I don't know what caused it. I mean, I know.
Neither do I.
Who knows?
So, is it... Yeah, I suppose it's live again.
Yeah.
Sorry for the short...
Oh, I need to start the live session again. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
And now I need to update that here as well. And then...
You guys went offline. KK, no problem. Alright, yeah, I don't know what happened. I suppose it's just, you know, the country of Sweden always manages to fuck things up.
Sweden, yeah, I guess that's right. But Sweden has one of the best internets.
Yeah, but the Netherlands actually has the best internet of the entirety of Europe.
Oh, is that so?
And I live there. Yeah, that is so.
I'd like to move there. I mean, the language is similar. I'd love to be there.
Right. Anyway, to keep Mr. Anthony from being bored.
Yeah.
So we decided that to simulate a system, society of Sweden. Well, Sweden is like, you know, living in a sewer, except with less CIA interference.
And more more immigrants.
More immigrants. Yeah. Okay, so to simulate a society, we would need a collection of individuals with opinions. So in the illustration, these arrays of values represent opinions. And we try to be very neutral. I mean, like, I like people who don't make noise on public transport and all of that. Yeah, I've heard about how it's a taboo in Sweden to even look someone in the eye when you're on public transport.
I mean, no, it isn't. I mean, it isn't like, no, you can look over to someone, just look at them. That's not taboo. I don't know where you've got that from.
I got that from PewDiePie.
Oh, well, maybe it's different up north.
Maybe, but whatever. Not relevant.
No.
So the arrays with values that are next to each colored dot represent opinions, and we want to be very neutral. So what we do is, when we simulate, we are going to randomly generate an array of opinions, which are just floating point values, and we will see, given a certain, you know, value for corruption and whatnot in these different systems of society, how quickly, or if you do at all, how quickly do you get to that optimal value of a set of opinions for the government? Thank you for the link.
It's a bit annoying that it just stops because you're a little too inactive.
Such is life.
Yeah.
That's not C++, no, it's Python. Python is based on C, but it has all of the disadvantages of it and none of the advantages. It's slow, which is the biggest advantage of C, that it's not slow.
But it's the way you
it's
write.
It's high level, it does not have strong typing. Yeah, it's basically a garbage language to anyone who does system programming, but
to beginners, and when you just want to write something quickly, it's easy to...
Yeah, for quick writing and also for statistics, it's great.
Yeah, to just scrap something together.
We could
rewrite it. We could rewrite it if we want to make it more efficient.
Like, I've been coding for years, but I don't have a job coding, so sad stuff. I've been looking at I've been looking for jobs, but all of them require you to have a bachelor's degree. No, I don't live in Sweden. I live in the Netherlands.
Is that a way for you to call Sweden a sewer?
No, but look at... He spelt it wrong. He said Sweden. That's why I said it's like a combination of less CIA interference, Snowden.
Right. I didn't get that.
Anyway, so let's get to coding. Update content. Very nice.
Okay, let's keep writing so it doesn't stop. So
I think it just stopped.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
Oh, eat my shorts. I don't own any.
That's okay.
Has it?
Spelling mistakes happen, especially
No, it does
in Sweden, I
update on
suppose.
the stream, so that it is still
Okay.
does still work. So is this good? What, like, the function is? Should we just...
Random for I range count. Yeah, totally
And
fine.
so then you need to write a count here.
Yeah, let's just make a constant value, which is just going to be, you know, amount of
Oh, I
opinions.
don't see you add anything.
I cannot edit the document.
Oh. Well, that's
It is
peculiar.
not possible for me to do.
Can you click the link again?
I have.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
I can edit it now. So let's just put down some constants, which is going to be opinion size. Let's just say everyone has constituent opinions. How many? 80.
Yeah.
So the way that we encode an opinion, Mr. Anthony, because you are our only viewer right now, is as follows. We have a list of numbers, and this list of numbers represents core values. So for example, you know, how much you value human freedom, how much do you value fairness, etc. And our assumption is that any political opinion is just the result of the culmination of these constituent values. So when we have an issue that citizens vote on in our system, what's going to happen is this issue is going to reference specific indices in the list of numbers, and that is going to be the opinion. Wait a second, I'll set my Discord to do not disturb. Okay. So for example, if we have... yeah, I'll do that in the drawing thing. Where's my mouse?
So,
For example,
why...
if we have...
May I ask something about the programming first?
Sure. This was your idea, by the way, so...
Yeah, what?
No, it was not. It was my... It was a compromise between both of our ideas.
So...
Yeah, so what is the question?
Why do we want to set opinion... Well, like, have none and then ask? Why not just have either not input and... Or are you saying else, then...
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So...
Else it's just going to be...
So, can't you just do...
No, like... Yeah, tertiary operators are not very very nice to look at.
No? Not like... So, not like this and then return it?
That's one of those cutesy Python tricks that you should never use.
Okay, how about this then?
You guys are so crazy. Thank you.
What about
anyway,
this? What about this then?
So, what I was saying is, opinions is going to be a list. We have digits, so say 0.1, 0.3, 1, 6, etc. Alright, so this list could represent the set of core values of an individual. I'm drawing, yeah.
Oh, wait, are you? What? Where?
Yes, I'm drawing. In the drawing thing.
Wait, I don't see it.
If it's not visible, that's annoying. It should be updating.
Are you in the right room? I mean, it should be.
I'm in the link that you sent to me today.
Oh, hold on. So visit the link.
Okay, well, since the drawing isn't
I
appearing
see it. I see it, but on stream it's not updating. That's obnoxious. Give me a sec. I'll make sure. I'll just.
Yeah.
You can keep drawing. I'll take care of it.
When simulating this system of government, we keep track of one list, which is basically the set of values of the government. And there is going to be an optimal way to run a country in real life, also in our system, and we are just going to make that an arbitrary thing. We're just going to, initially we're going to make an array, and that's going to be the optimal array of values for the government to have, the optimal way to roll it, so to say. And then we are going to figure out how much of the time do people actually hold the values that are the most optimal for ruling a country. Probably not a lot. Usually people are so stupid their values are not at all aligned with what would be best for the economy and for the social fabric and whatnot. But sometimes they are going to be right on some issues. Then, when voting comes around in democracy, for example, We have a certain issue that you can say yes or no to, because that's how referenda work. And, we could make different arrays to represent different parties. And we would see, if we implement the rules of democracy, how does the array that represents the way the government feels about things change over time. And we would like it to approach either the average opinion of the population, which is probably going to be pretty easy, but rather the optimal way to rule a country. What is that lambda function? Random array equals lambda n. No, that is ugly. Do not do lambda functions when you can just define a function. PEP 8 compliance, etc.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, there you
You
go.
should be.
Okay, fine.
Actually, I've been a fool too. PEP 8 compliance is something I've been into for a very short time. It's actually supposed to be generate underscore opinions.
Oh, so you do use that? Because I followed because I thought, oh,
Okay.
you want to write like that.
So the optimal way is when all the people is stable and happy. Yeah. So that would be, well, obviously there are different criteria. Some people, like anarcho-capitalists, would say, if the economy is going well, then it's going well for everyone, and that's the optimal way to have society. And some other people would say, well, if child mortality rates are low, then the society is in its best shape, right? The nice thing about the way that we are simulating this is that it really doesn't matter. Our assumption is just that there is some optimal way in some point of view. We represent that using a list of numbers. Then we decide, okay, we have this population of people. They're influenced by each other to have different opinions, which is the network that we can see in the drawing. This. And then, when voting occurs and such, the list that, what is this for exactly? Well, our motivation for this is the fact that we came up with a system of government a few episodes ago, which honestly, as we are just human, hasn't been thought out fully, but for the most part. And we want to see, if this were implemented in a society, how would the society differ from a democratic society? Would it get closer to the optimal way of running it sooner or later or not at all? Yeah, so that is the motivation. Would you like to hear what that system looks like that we came up with? Sure. So the idea is that citizens have to pay a certain amount of their money to the government, taxing a certain percentage. However, unlike in democratic systems, it's not just all given to the government, which then decides how to spend it. People can actually give different fractions of their money to different sectors in government. So you could decide to maybe give 90% of your money to infrastructure, or 90% of your tax money, I should say, and then 5% to healthcare, and then the other 5% to dog whistles. I don't know what the government is into. Someone else might decide to spend only 5% on infrastructure and the other remaining 95% on dog whistles. Really important program, those dog whistles. So then it is up to the government, with the distribution of money, to try to make the best of it in each sector. What that does is it encourages people to really think about the way they are spending their money. And if they don't know how to do it, then they can just choose to give their money to the government anyway, which could then be divided among the sectors in the same way that the average has already done so. I don't know if I'm explaining this very clearly. Previously we had a drawing to do so. Maybe I should do that again. So then the question is, what is the role of politicians, right? Because you can't expect everyone to really be thinking very hard about what they are doing with their life. And the idea is politicians don't actually rule. It is amazing. Thank you. We actually don't know if it's amazing yet. That's what we are going to be testing using code. So the people give their money to the government. What is their point? Well, they are just citizens, and the point is that you often hear people complain in democracy about, well, I'm a pacifist, I don't like wars, and that's actually not how the pacifists would speak. People say, I don't like war, I don't want my money to be spent on killing people in other countries. Just live, add nothing more. I mean, living is obviously something nice to do, but the thing is, you live in a country and the country has responsibilities and they have to be met somehow. Yeah, so the issue of not being satisfied with how your tax money is spent gets completely circumvented because you choose how it's spent. And the issue of corruption also is totally gone because policy making would be done in a similar way. It would be the policies would be generated by the populace. They would be voted on by the populace. If you don't care, then you don't vote. It's totally fine. And since the government would be decentralized, there would be no issue of people who actually have any personal benefit in getting to a higher position in power because, well, there are no higher positions on the ladder of power. So the idea is that people are totally satisfied with the way they are represented, even if it is not optimal. And what we want to find out is, does it actually approach, optimal, the optimal way of governing? Yes or no? So, coding. What have you coded, Max?
I realised I could just be switching over to NumPy. We're gonna make it efficient anyway, so. And it could just be written like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, NumPy, obviously. The problem is that the sectors of the taxes are going to try get that money by indoctrinate. Yeah, well, you would say that that's a problem, right? But we actually don't think it's a problem because if you look at the current political system, you have people like Sargon of Akkad. I don't know if you know him. He is a YouTuber who's also a politician, and Ben Shapiro. They are trying to get people to support the policies that they support. And that is okay. It raises political awareness. The debate in the public forum is healthy so that people can... does the government need that if the society is stable? No, not really. If the society is stable, then obviously none of the people in the respective government sectors are going to try to raise more money through indoctrination. The thing is, if you have 5 sectors of the government, infrastructure, dog whistles, toothbrushes, okay, not very realistic sectors, education, healthcare, and one of them thinks they don't have enough money, they are going to go out in public, they are going to spend some of the money that they do have on banners, posters, television ads. Spend more of your money on healthcare because people are dying, whatnot. Other sectors are going to be doing the same. And the only thing that this will result in, theoretically, is people... maybe you need some music on the background to help to the sustain.
The sustain?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't exactly know what they mean, but I have a feeling as to
should we...
We used to have background music, didn't we?
Yeah, but the issue was I had to listen to it. And it's difficult to focus and...
Lo-fi is a good idea.
Yeah. Do you have something?
Do you know of any royalty-free lo-fi places?
Post the link if you do. So we did have it on before. It seems that Pixelized guitar playing seems to be some sort of background. We used to have music, but that was for a little short while. and I just couldn't focus on listening because it had to play through. And then when I did play it, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna mute it for me. For some reason, even though it was muted only for me to hear it, it was still playing. The software did not pick it up. Stupid.
Software issues, am I right?
Yeah.
There is probably a way to get around that.
Yeah, probably.
I
An audio
guess
mixer
that's just
board.
going to have to wait until next stream.
I'm not going to buy an audio mixer board until next stream.
Whoa, we've been going for 40 minutes already. That is
Oh!
shocking. We have made absolutely no progress.
Maybe we should put away the guitar then.
Well, I've been talking. You know,
Yeah, you have.
if there is no talking about what we're doing, then
yeah, I know.
There is no content.
Okay, so right.
So yeah, you are right that there could be a problem where different sectors of government are going to try to really go after the money and what they find important. But that's not going to be something corrupt. There is no lobbying. There is no position in power. There is no guy or girl at the top who decides where the money goes. So there is no singular individual to try to influence if you need more money as a sector. You really have to go out and make the public aware of the issues. And that is only nicer because that'll leave the public to make more accurate decisions on what to do. Now that actually poses quite a challenge in our simulation that we hadn't thought of before. Because,
which is?
Well, initially we thought we would make a distribution where, you know, the average person gets most of the things wrong when voting, some right, but across time, no, actually that is not an issue. The fact that some people could steal some money in the government, you know, there is no getting around that.
No, of course, like, we're trying to solve more solvable things in how the system is based. And like, it's difficult to get around people stealing by changing the system.
It will always happen, yeah. It will always happen. However, you know, there is a difference between an individual at the bottom stealing some money by maybe not, you know, but by just grabbing some from the focusing on the main concept, yeah, because the serious issue of stealing government money, which is corruption, that does get solved since there is no one in power to just, you know, slowly siphon off the lifeblood of the country, as happens, since it's all decentralized. So in that sense, it has kind of the same advantages as Bitcoin would have.
Could you help me here?
I could help you, and I shall.
So, while I'm writing an influence function where you just give it opinions and weights, but the thing will be done from the network. But I'm making a function so you can just give it opinions and weights and have those affect that. So you just take the opinions and weights of the other citizen.
We have to think about this. I don't know if any of you can code, Colex and Anthony, but we have to somehow store the connections between the citizens.
We do it with... We could... Oh, I have an idea. We could do... No, because we want it to update simultaneously, so I think we do need a network class. I was thinking, because each object has an ID in Python when it's stored, so you use that ID to name the connection.
Right.
But it would not update at the same time, so...
Someone asked before if this is C. In C, what
no, you can! You can! You could still have the network class to trigger everyone to update, but you have them stored locally. The connections. Yeah.
I don't know exactly what you mean.
How do you... Is it possible to iterate a dictionary? Like, creation of it?
Iterate over what?
You know, like when you do x for x and then something, when you create an array, is it possible to do that with dictionary? I think it is, but I forgot how.
Yes, it is. You would iterate through the keys and values then.
So you do the same thing, key for like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
No, you would go. I think that this wouldn't. I think you would have to surround this with parentheses. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also realized we won't be doing that here. We will be setting that to. No, actually, so.
I was going to say, what
generate.
What you would do in C is the following: you would have in each class you would store an array with references to the connected objects because they don't take up any RAM.
Basically. Oh, stupid! Yeah, of course.
You don't have references in Python.
Yeah, you do. Objects.
Do you?
Yeah.
I thought it was only passed by value in Python. How do you make references in Python then?
Well, if you have, for example, if you have, let's say x equals citizen here. Actually, let's say this is also an object. You can do y equals x dot a, and now it has the reference as well. Oh, whoops! Like, never mind. Like, it would have the same if this is. I'm messing this up. Like so, they have the same object. They both have a reference to the same object.
Right. So if I then go y dot add 3.
Yeah, it adds.
Then x does get 3 gets added to x.
Yeah.
Oh, if that is true, which I don't doubt it is, then that is the thing that we would be using. But I'm afraid that you are confusing this.
No.
What about technology?
Oh, that we're not considering it here?
No, Mr. Anthony asked, and what about technology? I don't exactly know what the question means. Which is annoying, but on the topic of technology, in the previous episode we discussed how voting on policies would work, right? Because now this is just the division of money in the society. Technology in the society. Right, so do you mean like influencers, people on YouTube who question mark? I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. Not really that. Right. So then what is the question? I mean in the simulation, if we are accounting for technology.
Right. We're accounting for that this is a system that runs over a system like the internet, so.
Yeah, so the entire idea of the system is to have just a group of people, and they are connected to each other in some ways. They can influence each other's opinion, and so technology in this simulation is only relevant insofar as it can help others influence people's opinion about things. So that's like mass media, for example, because technology is of course relevant in a society when you are trying to save lives and whatnot, but we aren't actually modeling physical beings with real lives. All we are modeling is mathematical entities which represent opinions.
Yeah, I realized something. The thing that I was going to bring up to you, I said before, is that I realized that we don't actually have to make each individual very detailed. Like, we'll make them with useful details, but you don't have to simulate it to such basis, because when it comes to, like, in mathematics, when it comes to modeling of real life groups, as a group gets bigger and bigger, you need less details from each individual to predict the behavior of a group.
That's true. And not only do you need less details, you'll want less details because if you are simulating a million people, then
and that's cool that it even applies to people. It's just a group of things, objects that just there's an emergence of a different system as opposed to each individual system. Because if you have a small group of people, it's going to be less predictable than a big group of people.
Same for all the people. Yeah, the same framework, but not all of the opinions are going
to I think you can have a small group of people of what are they called? Social justice warriors. They're quite predictable.
Yeah, we might want to consider actually, political groups. We might consider coding those in, and not because they would actually be useful. They would theoretically emerge
groups
on their own, but we'd like a system to categorize the groups just so that we can see them when visualizing this. Colex asks where we are from.
I'm from Sweden.
And I'm not from Sweden. In fact, I am from the Netherlands.
I have a question for you, Pix. Pix? Ugh, that sounded...
Yeah, go ahead.
That sounded gross for some reason. Pix.
Maybe because of the similarity with a certain phallic word.
No. It's the ending that just feels Pix.
Okay.
As opposed to Pixie. Anyway, if you cannot make a tuple that stores the reference, reference, that's fine. That's going to be immutable anyway. NumPy arrays, you can put them in a tuple object and still modify them, right? Because they're referenced to a different object.
NumPy arrays are just like normal objects. You can modify them even if they are in tuples.
Okay, cool. Because it's just integers, strings, and such that you can't modify in tuples. Because it's the base classes, right?
No, but you can modify. Oh yeah, because strings are immutable objects, but you can't modify strings even if they are outside of tuples. You can never modify strings.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, I mean change the when you refer to the index of the tuple. So, we want np.random.rand opinions. No.
Where do you live?
Wait, we want weights.
What is so terrible about the place where you live?
Wait, we want weights. So just... Yes, I use the same here. Wait, should we actually make the weights the same range between 0 and 1? Should they be able to be negative?
Yeah.
Should I just do plus 2...
Spain is shit.
Times 2 and minus 1, right? Or do we do it a different way?
A friend of mine was in Sevilla recently, and she said that the most noteworthy thing about Spain that she experienced was the fact that everyone there is very, very slow compared to the Netherlands. Now, I haven't been there, so I don't know if that's true, but I've been to Greece, and Greece, all of the people there were very slow and worryless, which probably is not a bad thing. It's just different. Slow. So what makes Spain terrible? Does Spain have an interesting political system that we could simulate? No, it doesn't. It's part of the EU, so it has to be a democracy.
I mean, they have a pretty solid, not solid, money system problem. I don't know, not system. They've borrowed a lot of money. How do I generate a NumPy array between -1 and 1?
All politicians are robbers.
Can you just do that? Oh, you can. You can. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, I hear that from everyone.
So I'm just talking to myself.
Like, if they live in Spain or in the Netherlands or in Sweden or in the United Kingdom, everyone always says that their politicians are the worst politicians and that they do everything wrong.
I think that's
Except for
often
in
gonna
America, that
be.
you have a good 40% of people who are really rooting for Trump. But yeah, that is the sort of thing that our system would theoretically resolve, because there is no one to get mad at except for yourself when the country fails.
Yeah, or the system, I guess. But we're trying to
And
make
all of
it.
the other people, but what are you going to do? Say, oh yeah, Bob, my neighbor, he is so terrible. I don't know what he voted for, but it must have been bad.
You
It's like,
want different things, therefore you're a bad person. I mean, you can be mad at people for like voting for something that you like that is not logic that doesn't logically follow what you want. Like if that's what you want, you should have voted for this. But we're trying to resolve that system, so you don't have to care about the actions, but just this is what I support. And that should do it.
in the Netherlands right now, people seem to be very satisfied with the way politics are going. I mean, there is this one guy, a populist, and he is very popular amongst teenagers. He got way too many seats, and on the one hand, you have these teenagers now being confused on what they voted for because they really had no clue until he was already in power. And then you also have the rest of the country, and they are very mad because they don't like this guy. But that is not an issue because people like being mad at their state. So politics is a very dynamic thing in the Netherlands right now. And we trust our politicians, theoretically speaking.
I like that the fact that like if you put it into words, one person gets multiple seats.
Yeah, just like most Americans on trains.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible joke. When I'll soon be going to university probably, and
Are you
when
talking
I
to
go
me
there
or
by
the?
train, there is this one doorway when exiting the train that is slightly wider, and myself and my friends have begun calling that the American Gateway. It's just
American
stupid.
Gateway sounds more like your way to be, like the what you need to
It sounds
cross.
like a fast food chain.
The American Gateway.
American Gateway,
Yeah, because
a real
it's like
competitor of McDonald's.
you eat there and you will become an American by size. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You can blame individuals, but I mean, the same individuals in a different society would not have grown up to be the same way. So it's unfortunate. I sound so high of like our side of the world. Just it's just disappointing. It's just sad, America. Really. I'm gonna tone that down. That is not exactly what I meant.
I think we should try to make progressions in the coding
Yeah,
department now.
I am. So generate connections. So when we first create the network class where everything is, you first generate the citizen. Mm-hmm. Then to each citizen, you also give them the list of all the citizens. Oh, sorry, I kept doing that because you did it initially, but yeah, my mistake. And then when you have, so each and every stores the connection between each, you just run up update opinions for each. So it would be
Yes, Anthony, I'm playing the guitar. You asked for background music, and I've only been playing for a couple of weeks, but it's better than nothing, I suppose.
Also, I'm gonna switch, and I'd like to hear what you think, Anthony. So, do you think it looks better with the light version or the dark theme, like so?
You know what? We actually have 3 people here who can vote on
we have
this,
multiple.
So.
Okay.
Dark or light? What is better?
So this is you've been seeing the light version, obviously, and this is the dark one.
We have one dark. Yeah, I also agree with dark. So
as voting systems require, let yourself be heard, or else your opinion can't be
They are
taken into
heard.
account. Yeah.
Everyone said dark.
Okay. Wait, what is that? Is that like a Mickey Mouse
I suppose
burglar?
we just have a very progressive crowd. They prefer anything that's not white.
Okay. No, I'm talking about the Twitch emote. Okay. Well, I'll leave it there because I left it on the bright because I thought like maybe it would be some contrast to the other one, but I'll keep it on the dark one. It's a marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
Considering how you spelt it, is that the name of a person?
No, it's like a marshmallow. However, it's actually a melon. It's good for you. Contains vitamins, everything you need.
A DJ.
Oh yeah, it's like dead mouse.
Yeah, the icon is similar. Mouse, Mickey Mouse. Oh, crack cocaine. So I have a reference to silly me. I am no wait, that is correct. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna see if NumPy has a lerping function. Otherwise I'll just implement one, it's simple. Interpolate. There we go. That's the one. How do I use it? Okay. Is it just stuff like that? Inside. Okay. Well, I'll try that then. Just do pass, and then I'm gonna do print.
Wait a second. Generate connection seems like a weird function to have because isn't every single citizen connected to every other citizen?
Yeah. But this is making so that they're connected.
Right. So citizens would pass the entire array of citizens.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? We make a new class called society.
Yeah, but even with that, so what I've set up is you create the society, you generate the all citizen objects, and then when you have all of them, you pass the entire array into each of them to generate connections.
Maybe it would be better.
You don't have the entire array until you've generated it, so to make sure that everyone has a connection to every other object. You have to create the objects first and then pass them and say create connections.
Yeah.
So I'm just testing the interpolation function. So if I want 2 and then 5 and then I want halfway there, is that how it works? Oh, because I'll just write pass. Could you just leave it?
Sure. I could leave it.
In wait. Fact, I will. Oh no, that's not how you used it. Okay, I guess that's not how you use the function. I'll just lerp function. How do I define it?
We are really displaying our amazing coding skills to the world. I mean, our future employers will be very glad to see this.
It's fine. It's completely okay to look things up regularly.
Employ us. Yeah, that's the way coding goes. I mean, when you are live streaming at the same time, you can't expect to make much progress.
Guess that's not okay.
I have bad news.
Do you need to go?
Not yet, no. I wanted you to have a few minutes to prepare for the terrible, terrible situation that will arise when my soul leaves this ether for good.
And when is that? When are you leaving?
I'm guessing in around 11 minutes.
Okay.
To be more specific, 10 minutes. And 42 seconds. No, actually, 30 seconds. No, 20. Wait, I can't count. I wish I could. Counting has always been my greatest weakness.
Implement the lerp function properly. It should be quite simple. Here we go. I think that's not what it is. It's A and B and then... Z? I don't know. Does that give me what I want?
Yeah, it's a classical guitar. It's actually not mine. It's my mum's. She's not a hippie. She's too young for that. But this is a guitar with a what's it called? A thing that you strap your pants more tightly with. Damn it! Let me translate that.
But that's not correct.
Yeah, a belt, obviously. So yeah, it's a classical guitar.
That should be 2.5.
So it has quite a wide fretboard. It's my mum's, and it has a belt on it. That a pants belt instead of one that you would typically use for a guitar. So it looks like the person who used to play on this is a hippie, when in fact it's just a spiritually inclined mum, a new age spiritual mother, which are basically like hippies anyway. Fun stuff.
Looking if there's a way to pass a function into an, like, so you just like you add 2 numpy arrays, but I want a custom function. In this case, being the lerp function. Okay, I'll just implement it here. So if I have the other and I have the weights, what you want to do is for I in range length self.opinions. So I have the I. Now I want to say self.opinions I equals lerp self.opinions I. Oh, I just realized something. If you have the weights be negative.
Yeah.
So if you have a positive weighting, so from 0, if one opinion is 0, the other is 5, and you have 0.5, you will go to 2.5. But if you have a negative weight, being for example negative 0.5, then it will go from being 0 to 2.5, and that's quite far away.
I suppose it is.
So I think the negative side should be smaller than the positive side when we randomly generate it.
Why?
Oh, no, why are we using just random? That's equal distribution. We want a normal distribution of about...
Wait a second. Update opinions, is that supposed to be influence?
Yeah, it takes... So the weight is the influence, yeah.
But does update opinions mean update your own opinions or update that of the people you're connected to?
Your own. And you
right.
You go through...
That's not the way it works, right? Because you don't get influenced by everyone at the same time. It's like the people in the society use their influence, and then they influence their constituents, right?
Well, I thought of it as a static, like Game of Life, where all update at the same time because, like, a time step.
Right, but you could do that the other way around too. To me, it would be more intuitive.
I was just thinking of making it like this so it's more synchronous.
But you could envision that in a certain generation, we would want to code a trigger to someone using their influence at some point.
Okay, yeah, we'll go about it that way then. So just influence then.
Yeah, I think that's better.
But then we don't use self. Then we have self and then have other. Oh.
See you. Hello, I'm from Sweden. See you.
But then we want specific ones. Right.
Oh, we should not forget to include self-aid. Okay. But wouldn't someone using their influence everyone that they are connected to? That's
oh, you mean this one calls upon... Okay.
This one changes the opinions of the people that listen to them, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
Selves. So many selves. This is a schizophrenic individual.
Schizophrenic class object.
Yeah.
Like if you go ID and like so, and then you do it multiple times, you're gonna get different IDs.
So do any of you viewers have any experience coding? Suppose not. Glad to retain interest then. Yeah, HTML is, more markup than actual coding.
Yeah, I mean, if you write script objects like JavaScript in, but then that's JavaScript. For connection in self-connection, what it's going to do, it is going to do connection dot update. Should I call it update or update opinions? Pixie.
Yeah. What is your question?
Update or update opinions? You may name it.
Connection that updates self.
Okay. Yeah, that's clear.
Oh, connection dot update. Right. Shouldn't that be connection dot learn? Maybe. No, update is fine. Yeah. Maybe alter. I don't know. Update seems like such a. It doesn't matter. I'm starting to become like you. Should it be citizen or individual? I bet it's fine.
Right, so it's.
So I'll write an update function then.
Go through that. So it's the citizen, and it's waits. No, wait.
Do we have any new things in the chat? Not everyone in the Netherlands knows how to code. Would be pretty cool, but that would also kind of leave me out of any cool job prospects. So I know you know. Are you planning to stay in Spain for the rest of your life, or are you going to live somewhere else? Oh, that's interesting. How come you don't have the motivation? Canada has quite a... and Canada is infamous for not having a restrictive immigration policy, but it actually has quite a strict immigration policy. It's not very relevant though. And cold. Yeah, snow is nice. We haven't seen snow in the Netherlands in the past couple of years. I mean, we've seen some snow, obviously, but nothing like in my earlier youth.
I mean, can you use your phone, like during the breaks?
Well, in my school, you can just use your phone whenever you want, because...
Oh no, from both. Wait, where were they from?
Spain.
Spain. Oof. That's...
You can't use your phones at school? That's violence. I mean, I don't have a phone. I wouldn't really care.
I remember when they, during class, were like... brought out like a basket and told everyone to put their phone there. And that was before like smartphones. And now that we have smartphones, it's like, no, you can have them. If anything, they should be put in a basket with a smartphone rather than those basic ones before.
In the Netherlands, phones are an integral part of education. They are used for competitive Quizlets in class and that sort of thing.
Like, what's it called? The
Gov't, for example.
Yeah, that one.
Well, it's annoying for me because I don't have a phone, so I can't really partake in those.
Don't you have laptops? School
But on the other
laptops?
hand, yeah, I've been taking a laptop to school recently, but I've also not been attending school
Gone through.
uh, illegally. So I haven't really had much of an advantage there.
Okay.
School's going to be over soon.
Yeah.
Tick informatic. I don't know what tick informatic is.
Also, do you find my I'm asking the viewers, do you find that my keyboard tapping annoying, neutral, or is it good to have that in the background? If it's not too loud, that is.
Oh right, yeah. We also have
Okay.
informatics at my school. Theoretically, it would be a really fun subject, but the thing is, we don't learn anything. It's worthless. Informatics should be great, but instead, it's nothing. It's just sitting there, talking to friends. I've been working on a side project of mine, coding chess variants, using a node-based interface that I'm making during informatics class, basically because there is nothing else to do. It's just worthless. But, you know, free good grades, so nobody complains.
Okay, I've made a.
Yeah, I think I'll get myself a proper mic. I'm using the mic of my laptop now, and it is dubiously terrible.
I find it fine.
Well, yours is much better.
Yeah, but I find something that is different with this one. With mine compared to yours, the audio quality might be better, but even though it's like one of these good-looking mics, you know, standard recording mics, when I listen back to it, it sounds like I'm more distant, even though I'm only half a meter away. Maybe it's made to be closer to me like this. I don't know.
You would get shocked if you come here.
They shock Dutch and Swedish people?
No, that is not what they mean.
I know. It's 18 minutes past, by the way.
You are right. Well, the urgency of my leaving has been delayed, it seems. Which is nice.
It seems what?
It seems that I don't really have to leave. I thought there would be something coming up, but no.
Is it delayed or is it like nah?
I don't know. We'll see. It's probably
do you know why
indefinitely delayed, so fun stuff there.
Okay. No, I'm just thinking, should we end it or should we, because, you know, so we don't have to stop in the middle of something.
Maybe we should.
For what reason, if you do want to share, do you have to leave?
I'm not leaving. I'm still. Are you leaving?
No.
In that case, goodbye.
No.
No, but like the people in chat are saying, see ya, see you, and let's go.
Don't say see ya. We're not going yet.
Well, to celebrate their presence, I shall strike a really sad chord, E minor, and I shall say goodbye.
What?
Goodbye.
But you're not going.
I'm not going, no, but